Imagine several students sitting at a lunch table. As they talk, the topic of Christianity comes up, and one of them says, "What is a Christian anyway?" One replies, "I guess I'm a Christian. My parents are really religious, and my uncle is a pastor in a church." Another responds, "I'm a Christian because I have gone to church since I was a child and was baptized and joined the church." One of the other students disagrees. "It's not just going to church. I call myself a Christian because I'm doing my best to love people and do what God wants." A young lady adds her voice. "That's not enough. I'm a Christian because I didn't want to go to hell, so I prayed and asked Jesus to come into my heart, like the preacher told me." Someone else expresses his opinion, saying, "I'm not sure anyone can really know if he's a true Christian until he dies and finds out where he stands with God." One student, who has sat quietly listening to all this, suddenly says, "Everyone is a child of God, regardless of his religion. What right do we have to say someone isn't a Christian?" Who is right? Sadly, not one of these students defined Christian in a way that agrees with the teaching of Jesus Christ. The term Christian is as commonly abused as it is used. You might say, "I know a Christian when I meet one." However, people speak of Christian nations, Christian people, Christian churches, Christian books, Christian values, and many other Christian things. For some, a Christian is a conservative, whether political, social, economic, or all three. For others, a Christian is a nuisance who prevents progress by clinging to outdated beliefs, traditions, and prohibitions. For people in some Islamic countries, a Christian is a stubborn infidel. The Christian is the person whom everyone claims to know and no one can unambiguously identify. The one thing that remains true about this name is that everywhere it is spoken against. Acts chapter 28, verse 22. How then do we define a Christian? The best way is to consider how the word is used in the Bible. The word Christian appears 3 times in the New Testament. First, it was a derisive label assigned to Christ's disciples in Antioch, Acts chapter 11, verse 26. A disciple is someone who has submitted to the authority of a teacher to learn from him. However, Christianity involves more than just learning information. A disciple of Christ bonds with him by giving him supreme love and loyalty above all other people and things. Luke chapter 14, verses 26, 27, and 33. And over time becomes like his master. Luke chapter 6, verse 40. The new name for the disciples of Christ stuck, and we next hear it on the lips of King Agrippa speaking to the Apostle Paul. "Almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian." Acts chapter 26, verse 28. Finally, it was adopted by believers themselves. The Apostle Peter says that no one should be ashamed to suffer as a Christian, for he will one day rejoice in the glory of Christ. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 13 and 16. William Plummer writes, "Worthily to bear the name Christian is the greatest honor and greatest happiness ever attained on earth." What then is a Christian? The very word tells us that it is all about Christ. Thomas Peck writes, "The name implies membership in the school of Christ, belief in his doctrines, and obedience to his commandments. Belief and obedience, or faith and love, are the essence of Christianity." 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 13. Martin Luther says, "These are the 2 hinges upon which the whole of Christianity turns, faith and love." Likewise, the Westminster Larger Catechism says, "The Scriptures principally teach what man is to believe concerning God and what duty God requires of man." However, there is something more to Christianity, for the call to be a disciple of Christ is a call that unites the Christian with Christ in real spiritual experience. John chapter 15, verse 5. A Christian is someone whom God has united to Christ by faith so that he believes what Christ teaches and obeys what Christ commands. In the rest of this booklet, we will explore in more depth these 3 dimensions of being a Christian: what a Christian believes, what a Christian experiences, and what a Christian does.